In this video, I'm going to share 2 exercises with progressions to work deep knee and hip flexion. The first exercise is going to be a resistance exercise. The second exercise is going to be a mobility exercise to build end range strength. So the first exercise that we're doing is a step up. What you're going to need for this is you're going to need a bench to stand on or a box. And then I'm going to use a squat rack. This is ideal because then what you can do is you can put a barbell on the squat rack and you can use that as support just to take a little bit of the weight off of your legs. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be working on that deep knee flexion. So deep knee flexion happens when your calf and your hamstring come into contact with each other. And we're going to be working deep hip flexion. And to do this, we're going to allow that back leg to bend. So we're basically going down as far as we can. We're going to hold on to the bar and then we're going to use that to pull ourselves up. So we're still driving through the legs, but we've got a little bit of assistance. So you can push off this back leg as well. So from here, we're just going to step up. And then we're going to control that down till our foot touches the ground, bend the knee, and go back down into that deep hip flexion. That's progression 1. So what we're going to do with this exercise, we're going to treat it like a strength exercise because that's what it is. So put this in with your leg sessions. You're going to perform 3 sets and they're going to be anywhere from about 8 to 12 reps. Just make sure that you're giving yourself plenty of rest between each leg. So 15 to 30 seconds between each leg. If this one is too basic and you found this very easy, then what we can do is we can now do a shrimp squat from this position. So now we're really going to be working on our strength when we're doing this variation. So the back leg now, the difference here is that's not going to touch the ground. So still holding on for support. We're going to keep that heel up and then we're going to go down all the way to our end range and then drive through the leg, pull yourself up. So when we're using resistance exercises like this to build flexibility, to increase our flexibility, we want to think about the tempo that we're using. So it wants to be quite slow and controlled on the way down. Ideally, you want to go for about 2 to 3 seconds on the lowering phase. That's really important. And then you want to spend a little bit of time at your end range as well. So what that would look like is 1, 2, 3, 1, and then drive back up. And if you really wanted to make this a little bit more challenging and build a bit more strength at your end range of motion, what you could do is you could go 1, 2, 3. Okay, come up, pause there for 1 second, back down and drive up. Next up, I'm going to show you a mobility exercise to strengthen hip flexion. This is going to strengthen it by working your hip flexor muscles. So what we're going to do is, we're going to set up in the squat rack, but this time we've lowered the barbell. And you want to get into a half kneeling position, and then you want the barbell at about shoulder height. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to push down into the barbell to create a little bit of tension, and then we're going to try to bring our knee up as high as we can. So it's going to look like this. Drive that knee up. You can feel your hip flexors engaging. I'm going to hold it there for a second and lower it. So we can do lift-offs where we're literally just lifting off as high as we can, pause for a second, and back down. And we can do this for reps. And then we can add some hovers at the top of the movement as well. So a hover will look like this. We're going to lift off and we're going to pause there. We're going to do about 5-second pause and lower. 5-second pause and lower. If you're doing the lift offs, you're going to go for about 6 to 12 reps again. This is still a strength exercise. And if you're doing the hovers, you're going to lower the rep range because we're doing 5-second hovers on each rep. You only want to do about 5 reps, making the total set about 25 seconds long. Some things to look out for when you're doing this is when you're in position and you're lifting your leg, that you're not essentially doing this. We don't want that curling in the spine. That's just a compensation. It's going to make it look like we're actually lifting the leg, but really the movement is coming from the lower back. So just think about staying nice and upright, use the support to help you, and just make sure that you're feeling this in your hip flexor muscles. Your hip flexors might be quite strong, so you might be looking for a way to progress this exercise. So one way that you can do this is just by placing a weight on your knee. So I've got a plate, it's 5 kilograms, it's not too heavy. And but something to be aware of actually is when you're using a weight, you're much more likely to round. So again, if you can't lift the weight without rounding, then you're not ready for the weight. I suggest start light and work your way up. So holding on with one hand this time, the other hand is going to go on top of a weight to support it. And then from here, we're just going to do the exact same. We can do the lift-offs, and we can do the hovers. And if that doesn't fire up your hip flexors, then I don't know what will.